everyone. Welcome to I don't know what we're going to call these little tidbits, little snippets. Louisa is joining us today. She is is in process of being one of our authors at As You Wish Publishing, with Tara, who's creating this amazing collaborative book, bringing a bunch of beautiful, amazing voices together to spread the love, spread the joy, spread the encouragement in this world. So I'm very happy. Louisa had me on her show a couple of weeks ago, and I had such a good time with her that I thought, wouldn't it be fun if we hung out together again? And so, Louisa, thank you so much for being here with me. I'm going to tell you about Louisa here. Oh my gosh!
Thank you for having me. We're excited.
Oh, of course. All right. So Louisa Garrett is the architect behind the movements Make Kind Loud and Pass the Love, something that was born from her own frustration with the world, the politics, the negativity, hatred towards others. Louisa examined her own story to discover things she didn't like and made a conscious decision to change the way she was showing up in the world. Go be the change you wish to see in the world. That is what Louisa is doing. Now she speaks to corporations, groups, organizations, schools, and challenges them to find ways to make love loud. She hosts weekly online conversations and interviews the heroes among us who are making the world better in their own kind ways. Thank you, Louisa, for being here, for being you. I got to tell you guys, as you're watching or going to watch the replay, the best part of my day, I want to tell you one of the best parts of my day and how I start my day is Louisa has out on her Facebook page a daily video where she just bounces across my screen. She makes me feel so filled with light and joy. And on Wednesday, she does this hump day image or a picture or whatever, or a video. And they are always so fun and so inspiring. So Louisa, thank you so much for being here.
Oh, thank you for having me. Thank you for asking. I'm excited to chat with you.
always. You are a gift to me, I feel.
Oh. Sure. Well, thanks.
And I'm just happy I get to share you with people. So let's get into it. Let's talk about positivity during challenges or during change, because we're all experiencing change. And if you're watching this years down the road, just know 2020 was an interesting time.
2020 has been interesting for sure. It has been a year.
Yes. What do you say to people when they come to you? It's just too much. It's too much. It's too overwhelming. What do you suggest to them, or how do you help them?
Well, I agree with them. It is too much. It's a lot. Like we've gone through a lot in the last 8 months, 7 months. This is entering our 8th month. So I mean, it is a lot. But you have a choice of how you get to show up in the world, how you choose to show up in the world. So during this crazy time, during this chaotic time, this confusing time, this time of pandemonium, during all of the things that are happening right now, you get to choose who you want to be, and you get to choose how you show up. And some days may not be as good as the other days, but the beautiful thing about that is that when you wake up the next day, you have a choice of how to show up. So that's my thing. That's what I tell people. Like, every single situation, every single interaction, every single moment, you get to decide who you want to be in that moment. And no one can make you feel a certain way. No one can, do anything to you that you don't allow. So I'm not saying that you're not going to have, you're not going to be upset, or you're not going to have bad days, because of course you are. You're human. But what do you do next? What do you do in the next moment? And you get to choose that. So feel the feelings, be overwhelmed. It's okay. But then what? Then what are you going to do? You can stay in that sense of overwhelming, or you can get up and decide, no, today I'm going to shine my light. So my thing is that every single day you have a choice. And even when you mess up, or, quote unquote, mess up, or don't present yourself as well as you should have, the next moment you have another chance to do better.
Yeah. Oh gosh, I love that. I love that because we always have another chance. You know, people say to me with writing their book or writing articles or being in a collab book, you know, well, what if people read this 100 years from now? And I'm like, don't worry, they're not. Don't worry. Because writing and authorship is changing, it's evolving, it's allowing, you know. Oh, I just love this. I was you know, learning, because we learn. The more we learn, the more we know, the more we can grow. It's awesome. Yeah. But I was learning about how we kind of move through time in our different ideas and ways of thinking. And at one time in our experience, you know, this group of people, let's say, made the rules on what was valuable about knowledge. And now we've moved through time and we're going, oh, no, wait a minute. There's more and different and different ideas and different groups of people and different things that now they're saying that this is what knowledge is. And as we continue to grow, our knowledge becomes more diverse. So we begin to write in diverse ways, and we begin to cultivate different ideas from different cultures and different areas, different understandings. And so even say you were writing back here for this group of knowledge-based seekers, right? Well, we've got to change. We've got to grow. We have to evolve. And so even though you believed that yesterday, you're allowed to change what you wrote. It is not in stone. It is not in stone. And so you can change your message. You can change your life. You can change your awareness as you move through this stage and through the different stages of awareness. And so I just love that. It's okay. You get to choose again tomorrow. Louisa gives you full permission.
Yes, you get to decide who you want to be. Like people say, people don't change. I disagree with that. I think you learn and you grow and you evolve. And to say that people don't change is just to put them in a box and to only see them as who they once were and not who they are today. And that's sad and unfortunate because you're not allowing the change. So maybe you haven't changed, but that doesn't mean that that person hasn't changed, right? So maybe your lens is still right here, but like you just said, we're moving on.
We're hungry. I feel like, I feel now more than ever, I'm really hungry for knowledge. I'm really hungry for possibility, for things that intrigue me. And you know, sometimes the best gift we've ever been given is YouTube. I really think that. Yeah. Because in some ways, you know, one way it's like, I don't know about that. And then in other ways, it's like, wow, I'm listening to professors from different colleges and I'm learning about the things that I feel passionate about and different people's ideas. I mean, it is like the I don't know whether it was the Parthenon or whatever, where we would all come together, you know, and I don't know time, but 1 billion centuries ago at least, where we came together to learn new thoughts. Right. And so if we couldn't do that, then we wouldn't grow, we wouldn't evolve, we wouldn't get to make a different choice. So that's so cool. So in our time of change, you're saying it's okay.
It's okay. And you have to be okay with your own growth, right? And you have to be okay with letting people go. So everyone isn't going to grow at the same speed. And you have to be okay with letting the people who have been in your life for 20, 30 years, 5 years, it doesn't matter whatever the length is. But if they're not growing at the same rate as you, you can't allow them to hold you back. You have to keep doing what you're meant to do. And hopefully they'll catch up with you. If they don't, you have to be okay with that.
Yeah. And I think that's one of the biggest problems that we see in certain family structures. And we say, oh, well, if I go outside of this, I'll get killed with sticks and rocks, or if, and they'll tell you, some of them will tell you, some traditions are very strict.
Yeah.
They'll tell you, you will never be allowed back into the fold again if you leave this.
Right.
How dare you?
Right.
And I say, challenge that at every turn, because like you said, it will come out in the wash. The people will, the people that are meant to continue to be in your life will continue to be in your life. And I just love that. And so just bringing that back to authorship, we have authors who speak about their lives, or they speak about their families, or they speak about their experience, and they're growing. And so I always suggest to people that, you you want to make sure that you change the names to protect the guilty. Right?
Right. Calling people out.
Right. Number two, that you put something in there, a caveat in there that says, I'm growing. I'm developing. What I believe today may not be what I believe tomorrow. So this is a hugely important, valuable concept, Louisa, that you're bringing to us.
Thank you. And they're life lessons, I've struggled. I've been on my kindness journey for 8.5, 9 years now. And the first couple of years were a struggle. It was an internal struggle every single day, because prior to that, I was super sarcastic. And, don't get me wrong, I still have that sarcastic side in me. I just don't use it as often. But my kindness muscle, I've been exercising for the past 8.5 years. And so it's stronger now. But when I first started, and this is something, for people to understand, it's not going to be all rainbows and unicorns at the start. There's all, hey, yeah, it's not going to be all rainbows and unicorns at the very start. It's going to be tough. And you've got to grind it out and, have some hard conversations with yourself and be honest with yourself and cry, cry with yourself. Right. And just let it all out, and then figure out who you want to be and how you want to operate and what that means to you. And because you can't change people, you can't change anyone but yourself. So as long as you're doing your internal work and putting out the goodness and the good energy, that's all that you can do. And maybe your vibe and your modeling will help someone see themselves differently, but you can't change anyone. And that's something that people have to realize, that you might want to change people. You might want people to act differently, but that's their own journey. And there's nothing that you can do but work on yourself and be a better person yourself. And then hopefully that light and that energy will flow out.
This is so perfect, because I was just thinking, and right before we came on, I was like, what makes a movement? Because make kind loud. It's like, how, not necessarily where did it come from, but although that is a great question, it's what was it that inspired you into this point where you said, oh, I don't like this.
Yeah.
I don't like what's going on here. What do I need to change in me, and how can I present myself to the world? So what was it that you were like, what makes that movement movable? Move it. How do you move that movement, girl?
Right. So like I said, I've been on it for about 8.5 years, and I have 24 nieces and nephews who I absolutely adore. Just they're the loves of my life. And so one of my nieces lived with me during her high school years. And so, like I said, I was super sarcastic. I was ready. I was locked and loaded. Whatever. If you had something to say, I was right there. I was ready for you. Right.
Right.
So she would always say, I would tell her, clean your room, do your homework, clean the kitchen, whatever. And she would always say, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. Now, me in my sarcasm and my I don't care, you're 15.
You're a child.
Clean your room, do your homework.
I don't care how I sound right now, okay?
Right. What do you mean? It's not what you say, it's how you say it. Okay. but go clean your room. And so, this went on for about a year. And it was almost literally every single time I would ask her to do something, she would come back with, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. Now I'm sure that I was, snippy with it. And I'm sure that I did not say it in the kindest way. But still in my mind, it was like, just do what I tell you to do, right?
Yeah. I'm tired.
I'm tired of saying the same things. And then fast forward. So that went on for about a year. And then fast forward another maybe 6 months or so. Someone said something to me that was completely off the wall. I have no idea what they said. I just remember it being like, what? And then I thought to myself, well, why'd you say it like that? And as soon as I thought that, her little voice popped in my head and said, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. And if my nieces and nephews truly are the loves of my life, and I really do want them to be good humans and productive citizens of the world, and to, offer, tap into their geniuses, then I needed to start modeling that behavior, because they too could come back real quick, because, they were picking it up, right? So they too could, fire off as fast as I could fire off. And so it was more of, how do I want them to be? Like, how do I want this world to be for them? And in order for that to happen, then I need to start looking at myself. And like I said, the first 2 years, it was so hard because sarcasm was ready. It was on deck all the time. And so I had to take pause the first couple of years and be like, oh, I can't say that. And I really had to rewire my brain to figure out how I can be kinder and how I can operate from an area of love. And so that's where it started. And, like I said, it was about it's been about 8.5 years. And then the couple years after that, in 2016, there was the shooting of the policeman in Dallas. And that put me on the couch for 3 days. And the same niece, she had already graduated from high school. Now she was back home for the summer from college. And I was on the couch for 3 days. Didn't shower, hardly ate. I was just sitting there wallowing, right? On that third day, she came into the living room and was like, what are you doing? And I was like, oh my God, well, I don't know. Nothing's working. I put out my daily posts. I'm trying to be nice. Nothing's happening. Like, the world doesn't care. And she said, well, if you don't do anything, who will? And I was like, well, fine.
And the children shall lead them.
Exactly. And I was like, well, fine. And then that's how it all started. It was before Make Kind Loud. It was just me working on myself and putting out good stuff on Facebook, because Facebook can be a crazy land sometimes, but you can find the goodness if you want to. And so instead of sharing negative posts, I made a conscious effort to start sharing positive posts. But it needed to be more. It needed to be more than that. And so that's where it started from, talking to corporations, to businesses, schools. And it's just a matter of how, literally, what is your life's goal? What do you want to be remembered for? And I didn't want to be remembered as someone who was locked and loaded and ready to fire off. No matter, whatever the situation. I want to be remembered for someone who does good and who operates from love and who puts out goodness and helps people find their own joy just by watching the way I operate in my joy. And so that's where it started, and that's where it continues to go from here.
And I think too, when you're living your authentic life and your authentic self, and you're speaking your truth, even if it's not pretty, I mean, it doesn't always have to be just like you said, unicorns and rainbows. It still shows people that you're real, and they can connect to that. They can connect to you. They can see you, and they can see sometimes in your struggle, and then watching you evolve through it, that can be something that will help change them as well. You know, if in a good way, even though you're not responsible for that change, you're not responsible for their happiness. But just being you, just being your light, just being that person that I know, I can consistently know every morning when I open my phone, I'm going to see that beautiful face just saying something to you. I'm going to tell you something today, you know, and whatever it is, it just fills my heart up. Even if I don't hear it, I just see that beautiful smile and I'm like,
oh, thank you.
You're so amazing. So, you know, what can people do? What can people do to connect with you if they wanted to connect with you about working with their school or business or anything like that?
Yeah, so you know, Facebook is my jam. So you can find me there pretty much today. So you can inbox me or you know, friend me, and or you can just email me at louisa@makekindloud.com, and we can connect there. But yeah, please, you know, feel free to reach out if you have questions, or if you just want to scroll through the page, you can do that too. It's public. It's out there for everybody.
It's out there. It's so great. Yeah, and you also put some things out there from other people and videos and inspiring videos, and so it's just a beautiful space to just, you know, get inspired and feel good, you know, and because that's what this whole thing is about, feeling good, right? Really. You know, when it all boils down to it, yes, we work through it. Yes, we grind it out. Yes, we have to honestly reflect and say, okay, what am I doing right now?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, how am I, you know, boxing myself up? How am I hurting myself? How am I staying locked and loaded? Right.
Right.
What ways am I doing that? So we have to have those real conversations and connect with people who can have those real conversations with us. So we don't, because you can't solve a problem with the same mind that created it. Einstein said, so don't do that. we got to step outside of ourselves for a minute. Even if we free write and free journal everything that's going on, and then we take a step back, read through it, and take it from an objective point of view, like your best friend is going, right. Wait a minute. Yeah. Hold on a second.
And you need a couple of those people, right? And so I have a few of those who are like, hey, you. And I'm like, oh.
Yeah, I got my real friends. Like they are the real deal. Yeah, I know which ones not to call. when I want just somebody to agree with me, I know the ones not to call, and I know the ones to call.
Listen, I have to be very careful about what I post because, you know, sometimes I'm sad, right? And I just want to be like, oh, I'm sad. And I have a group of friends who immediately like, who did it? Who was it? And I'm like,
I'm gonna get them.
I'm just sad. So on that point,
I remember
I have to be a little careful. Who was it?
I was at an event. I was working an event, and I went back in the back, and you know where the team was that we were running the event, and I went back in the back, and I sat down in the chair, and I just started sobbing. Yeah. And one of the speakers, she came up, she said, "Who did this to you? Who did this? I will stomp them into the ground. I will get them so bad. They're just never even going to be able to believe that I just got them so bad." And I was like, I did it to myself. I did it to myself.
That happens. Right? Well, you just need to sit and cry.
Yeah. She just came over and hugged me, and I was like, "This is good. I'm good now."
Yeah. I love that.
Oh my God, Louisa, thank you so much for being with me today. Is there any closing things that you would just like people to be like, okay, I have my walking orders. I know what I need to do next.
Yeah. So one of my favorite quotes is from Maya Angelou. And she gets misquoted on this quote all the time. And you know exactly what I'm saying. Like this quote is like the most misquoted quote. And so it says, do the best that you can until you know better. And when you know better, do better. And like a lot of people quote her as saying, when you know better, you will do better. Well, that's not true. And so do the best you can until you know better. And when you know better, do better. The directive is do better. Like your directive is to get out there and be kinder, be more loving. If someone is saying something in your presence that doesn't sit well with you, don't allow that in your presence. It's going to be uncomfortable. Some of those conversations will be uncomfortable, and you have to be okay with that. But mainly just be consistent in who you want to be every single day. And like I said before, you're going to stumble. I stumble all the time. Like this is not something that I'm just like, oh, I'm a kindness guru. No, not at all. I stumble all the time, but the very next moment you have an opportunity to do better. So as long as you make that awareness for yourself, then I think that would be helpful for, if all 7 billion of us decided to do better, this would be such a different world. It would be such a different world. But the choice is yours, and you have to be okay with losing people, because there will be better people who will come to your life in that moment that you need them and help you get to your next level. And so, not saying that the people in your life now aren't good. It's just that maybe they're not going with you on your journey. And so just be okay with that and just do the best that you can with the knowledge of, I'm going to put out as much love as possible. And I was born to love, and I was born to shine my light. And it's okay. Do not dim your light for people around you. Shine, be that beacon that you were born to be, and own it. Own it.
Yeah.
And do not apologize for it. And so, that's what I would say.
I love it. So as you were talking, you just talk and I just get so inspired and things coming in my head. But one of the things that I remember when I was first started my kind of like self-discovery, like what the heck am I doing around here? Life. One of the things I learned was you are going to be most like the 5 people that you have around you the most.
Yes.
So you're going to be about in the same financial situation. You're going to be about in the same emotional standpoint, mental standpoint, and intellectual standpoint, all that kind of. And so I was like, I think a minute I looked around, I was like, you knuckleheads? I'm like, you people? And so I was like, I got to get new friends. I need new friends. Woo,
that is awesome.
I did. And then
you're right.
You do. You really do.
Yeah. And you have to be aware of the people that are in your life, and the people that who are filled with drama, and the ones that who are filled with negativity. And people, everyone has empathic abilities, right? Everyone can feel energy. And you know how you feel when you're in the presence of certain people. And so if that feeling isn't like, ooh, I can't wait to meet up with them, or if it's a feeling of dread, then reevaluate that.
You have your answer.
Right. Like, if your feeling is like, oh, you know what I mean? Reevaluate. And no, it's a complete sentence.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is 100%.
No, it's a complete sentence. You don't need a but. You don't need an and. You don't need any explanation. No, and just keep it moving.
Right on down the line. I love it. Yes. If you take nothing away from this time together.
No is a complete sentence.
Your happiness, your kindness bucket will be so full. You'll be overflowing with kindness and giving, because you have energy, because you've said no to the things you don't want.
Right.
I love it. All right. Well, Louisa, thank you so much again for spending your time with me. I just get so happy when I'm with you. I moved in. We color coordinated and everything.
It was awesome.
So good. All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and end the show. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. Louisa Garrett, everyone, she is amazing. And please, please, please make kind loud in your life as well. I'm Kyra Schaefer, As You Wish Publishing. Please, please, please come out. If you've got something to say, we want to help it get out to the rest of the world. Again, As You Wish Publishing. I will see you all soon.